So this is what's left of our pattern shop. When you had a foundry, you used to make a wooden pattern of something, and then you would cast it in sand. Here's an example of one of the wooden patterns. This is a flagpole base. It's got all the stars on the bottom. It's made out of wood. Then if you look at the back side, it says BS 12B. So it was Butler Street, 12 inches in diameter, and I don't know what the B stood for. But that's what that is. Here's just another sample of many patterns. I don't know if this looks familiar. Well, it's one of these. And if you live in Chicago, you probably don't realize this, but there's a hell of a lot of these. They're on top of every streetlight pole. So it started out as a wooden pattern, it became cast iron, and then it went out on the streetlight poles. Another one of our old desks. By the way, the desk inside in the front, that's the original desk too. That was known as a partner's desk, like a mom and pop operation, where mom sat on one side and pop sat on the other side, and they made sure they got the books done. It's kind of what we're going to go, it's the direction that we're going back into. It's part of our plan to get through this economic downturn, along with a couple of other things we spoke about earlier. We want to become a school, a teaching institute. We want to get back to our roots of being a mom and pop operation. And also, this industry is a hard industry. It's for immigrants. And it's not just for newer immigrants, because I consider every American to be an immigrant. Whether you're an immigrant of maybe 1 generation or 5 generations, you're an immigrant. The only people that are really Americans, let's say, are the indigenous people. I understand this is the last day that the foundry ran as a foundry, and that's dated Friday, March 14th, 1947. Apparently what happened after World War II, the predecessor of the EPA came over to our foundry, which is located on 3422 South Normal, directly across from White Sox Park, Chicago's south side. But the EPA came over here and they told us that what you're doing is dirty, it's very polluting kind of work, so you're going to have to cease as a foundry. It was just another transition that Butler made. We spoke of the initial transition when they started the foundry. We also spoke about things that happened during the Depression. Well, this is after the war. This is after World War II. And Butler had to cease using this pattern shop because they weren't going to do any foundry work because it was too dirty. But instead of just wrapping things up and quitting, Butler chose to reinvent itself. At that time, it became a steel fabricator. It went from being a steel manufacturer to a fabricator, and that's where we're at right now. We're a fabricator, and we're going to make a transition again to being a learning institution, which is going to be pretty exciting. And I can only imagine that my predecessors came here, and they took pictures of the work that was being done in the shop. If you look out here right now, there's really not a lot of work. The last few days we've been just cleaning things up and getting ready for the end of the year. There's only a couple people working, and the jobs in here are kind of the end of the jobs for right now. Typically, we're always slow in December and January. We do a lot of bidding. That's part to do with why there's no work in here. And also, it's just got to do with the economic downturn. What we choose to do is we're going to make some lemonade out of these lemons. The lemons that were handed to us with this downturn. But we'll figure it out.